Good afternoon. This is the after the close version of Mornings with Michael. Get my collar here a little straight. Brought to you by Toastmaster. So let's get to the news. Kind of interesting in the San Francisco Bay Area. If you've seen autonomous cars out there, California auto regulator said on Friday it is investigating recent concerning incidents involving autonomous vehicles operated by General Motors unit Cruise in San Francisco and asked the company to take half its robo-taxis off the roads. Reuters. VinFast Auto VFS mentioned cautiously in Barron's, noting that the stock shot off of the starting line after going public this past week, but the electric vehicle startup is likely to stall as shares as is too expensive. Xpeng XPEV was upgraded to buy for neutral at Bank of America on an expectation of stronger cost controls, and a pact with Volkswagen can enable the company to turn a profit in 2025. Financials, Citigroup considers plan to split institutional clients group in overhaul, FT Financial Times reports. Remax Holdings, RMAX, announced a reduction in force and reorganization intended to streamline company's operations. Reorganization will reduce company overhaul workforce by approximately 7%, reaffirms guidance. Bank credit at all U.S. commercial banks slides to 1723 in week ending August 9th versus 1725 in previous week. Boaz Weinstein and several other high-profile investors, including William Ackman and Mark Lasry, have made a rival offer for Sculptor Capital Management, SCU, a hedge fund firm that allegedly agreed to sell itself to another investment firm, according to the Wall Street Journal. Healthcare, Excelsius, Alameda company here, and Ipsen said a phase 3 clinical trial evaluating a combination of drugs, Cabaz and Inib, Atazo, these are tough words to come up with. Atazolizumab in metastatic castration resistant prostate cancer. Resistant prostate cancer met its primary goal of progression-free survival, but didn't achieve statistical significance for overall survival. Ikena Oncology, IKNA, files to sell 5.95 shares common stock for holders. Neurocrine Bioscience, NBIX, announced the U.S. FDA approval of Ingrezza capsules for treatment of adults with chorea associated with Huntington's disease. Regeneron Pharmaceuticals said late Friday the FDA approved Eylea HD injection 8 milligram, which is jointly developed with Bayer AG. Johnson & Johnson, J&J, offered shareholders to exchange their shares of Johnson & Johnson common stock for shares of Kenvue, KVUE, common stock owned by Johnson & Johnson was oversubscribed at 8.0324 shares of Kenvue stock. Common stock will be exchanged for each share of Johnson & Johnson common stock accepted in the exchange offer. And on to Technology, Media, and Telecom. Palo Alto Networks, PANW, shares rise over 12% after quarter four. EPS $1.44 versus estimate $1.28. And crowdsource rises on sympathy as well. We'll take a look at that a little later. AVGO, Broadcom UKCMA panel clears Broadcom, AVGO, VMware, BMW, $61 billion deal following in-depth phase 2 investigation. NAPCO Security, NSSC, said it would restate financials for the prior 3 quarters, saying it previously issued unaudited interim financial statements should no longer be relied upon. And finally, Liberty Sirius XM, LSXMA, upgraded to buy from neutral at Seaport Research. And that's our news for today. Let's go and take a look at our heat map. Share the screen. Heat map, technology was mainly up. As we can see, Microsoft, NVIDIA is up 8.5%. AVGO, AMD, Google, Meta, Amazon, Tesla is even up 7.33%. Is this a dead cat bounce? We'll take a look at interest rates on the bonds. They keep rising. With interest rates rising that strongly, I don't think it's a long-term deal, but that's the story with a heat map. Anything away from tech seemed to be down today. Mixed bag in healthcare. J&J is down about 3%. Energy is mostly down, utilities. So that's a look at our heat map. And let's take a look at our annuity chart. As I say, most people should be, 90% of people should be in an annuity where they can sleep well at night. Annuity is a 25 to 33% bonus on new money. And overall outperforms the indexes, which rotate with the markets, by about 5%. So let's share our screen. First, let's look at dollar. Dollar is off a little bit at the close today, off 3 cents, not too bad, still pretty high. This is reversely correlated with gold and silver prices. Gold is bouncing off of the low levels that we got here as the dollar has softened a little bit, up 48 cents today. And silver bounces as well. It started over here and it's gotten back to its 200-day moving average. Take a look at our copper. Copper is bouncing as well. Well, silver and copper are used a lot in EV batteries, so feel that they have a long-term strength. Take a look at SCCO. And a slight bounce off the 50-day moving average. And FCX, no movement at all, still down slightly under all of its moving averages. So we'll see if it can get back up. And let's look at our bond yields. Bond yields continue to jump. Like I said, anytime it's over 4.09. put pressure on stocks, and it's quite above 4.09. It's at 4.34% on the 10-year. And look at the gap up on the 20-year as well. It's at 3.63%. Let's go to see what's trending. Start out with technology. We got a bounce over here. If the bond keeps raising, I feel this is a dead cat bounce. So we'll just have to see after hours. Looks like they sold out. Let's take a look at the volatility. Pulling back here. Second day in a row. So the NASDAQ is bouncing over here as we see. But after hours, it's selling off. It's only off 0.16%, but it was up 1.61% today. S&P 500 with the volatility or VIX down. S&P 500 would be up. It's up 0.65% today. Still under 50, 10, and 20-day moving average. Dow Jones slightly off 0.13%. And our small caps slightly down as well. Take a look at energy pricing. Oil was up in the morning and then it sold off toward the end. It's off 0.63%. Actually, these are energy stocks. Let's take a look at oil pricing. Oil, yes, like I said, it was up in the morning and sold off slightly, 0.29%. After hours, it's marginally up. Financials are down. Communication, this is Google, Facebook. They're trying to bounce here. Our biotech is bouncing. Pretty strong move there. Both the biotechs are bouncing. Take a look at the couple issues that we looked on Friday a little later. Software is gapping up today. Our semiconductor index is moving up as well. Looks like we got a little dead cat bounce in airlines, mining, metals. It's pretty flat. Home builders are down. You'd expect that with the yield continue to rise. And building materials got a slight bounce, but pretty flat right there. So what's moving in the market? Let's take a look. I got my handy chart. Is Kazakhstan a stock? provides security brokerage and other financial sources. Got some pretty huge volume over here. It's broke out. It actually broke out into this pretty close to the sell zone and then pulled back. And it pulled back a little bit more after hours. Earnings are coming out. I'm not sure if they were reported yet. NVIDIA was up big in semiconductors. Looks like it broke out of this consolidation. Earnings are in 2 days, so that's a big risk. We got some pretty good volume on it. And you know, after I went all to cash and sold my NVIDIA, heads up. These things happen. ANI Pharmaceuticals in the biotech space develops and manufactures branded and prescription pharmaceuticals. Had a pretty big move, tight range and moving up. In the news, we got Palo Alto Networks gapping up today. Earnings came in at 80% increase, a 9.92%, almost 10% earnings surprise. Gapped up above its 50-day moving average. Take a look at crowd, what you really like in this sector. The move had sold off, and it looks like it's moving up here. Possible that this is a double bottom on a daily. If we look at it on a weekly chart, doesn't really look like it's got a double bottom formation, but it seems to be in a pretty tight range. Once again, their earnings are at the end of the month. VMware, which was in discussions for that sale, gapping up today, up $7.61. Got huge volume over here. So we got a lot of buyers on that deal. AppFolio got a strong move up here on huge volume. The earnings came out at 667%. Had been selling off, up 10, almost 11% today. Hotel Group, big buying over here. Although it only went up 0.92%. I believe this is Lamb West Limbach Holdings. Construction and maintenance, up strong today, up over 7%. Pretty good volume. Earnings came in at a 475% increase. And it was an earnings surprise of 171%. It sold off a little bit on the earnings. Excuse me. But we got a strong move out of consolidation here. AppLovin gapped up, holding this gap up, and it's in a strong area right here. See, as long as it can hold this gap up, it's in a good location. We've got a lot more buying again today. not a whole lot of movement, but it was up 2%. And finally, Nutanix, cloud platform converges server virtualization storage into one integrated solution. It's up 2.35%. And once again, great volume, earnings in 10 days. Where money is moving out of. Got a huge gap down 45%. Napco Security, fire alarms, building access. Wonder if they're doing more shares being sold, but this is amazing. We'll have to look further into this one. Got a slight downturn on Star Surgical, but look at all this huge selling. This is danger. Of course, it's below all of its moving averages. So something to stay away from. J&J, which was in the news. Big sell-off here. Nobody really likes huge volume. I guess people didn't like that they were transferring their shares for this other company that was in the news. Had been staying pretty strong here, but when this news came out, down about 3%. We'll see if it can come back. PODD. Continues to fall. Insulet. Insulet Infusion Systems earnings came in at 733%, and it still wasn't good enough for the crowd. That was an earnings surprise of 42%. Just keeps falling. Broadridge Financial Solutions is pulling back. Huge volume. It's only off 0.6% though. So it must have been a lot of buying and selling. Keep it up that level. And finally, we'll look at Bill Holdings, provides cloud-based software. Sold off 3.1%. We had a big move on Friday on its earnings, which were up virtually 1,000%, a 43% earnings surprise, and I guess people are just taking profits now. So let's take a look at the two issues that we looked at last week. They both sold off in the morning, and they came back strong. First, let's look at GLSI. Let's take a look at the 5-minute bar. It gapped down over here. And then all of a sudden we got some buying as it gapped up. Not sure if that was insiders or not. It's kind of fell down to 9.21, and then after hours it sold off again. We'll just have to continue to watch this. Want to see follow through buy. There was pretty huge volume today. First time in a while that strong volume since over here. when it had the big move up, follow on from this big move up out of this consolidation. And ELTE sold off a little bit in the morning. Buying conviction pulled it up in the upper 75% here. And after hours, it's up again, 31.05. It had a big move, 30% up in 2 days. So you would think that some people would be taking their profits. Pretty big volume here, but as I said, there's a lot of buying as well. So we'll continue to watch this, and we'll see if it can continue to move higher. I believe the 12-month target was around $48. So these are the two stocks we've got on our watch list. Crowd is the other one. Crowd Holdings. Just a bit concerned of that high yield on the 10-year bond. And we'll take a look at a couple of other issues. They sold off a little bit today. TK Tankers, oil storage. Euronav, also in tanker storage, sold off a little bit and came back towards the end. Had some huge buying right over here. Good move. Seems like it broke out of this 1841 consolidation over here. Has a nice dividend. Take a look at yield on this one. 17.4% on the yield. Take a look at on TNK. They're at 2.3%. Storm, the 25.4%. Looks like it's building on this consolidation, not quite as strong. And LPG kind of sold off here. No yield in LPG. Continue to watch that one. And International Seaways, it's pretty strong. 1% yield. Got a little bit of a consolidation. We've got a long cup pattern here. Could be termed a handle. And we'll see if it can get up in this area. Volume has been kind of low as it kind of sold off here, which is good. Had one strong volume day and then it sold off towards the end. And finally, Frontline. These all look pretty good, holding up pretty well. Let's take a look at the yield. Frontline, 14.2%. So this is the area I kind of really like. Scott St. Clair profiled these on MarketSmith over the weekend as well. So we'll continue to watch them and we'll keep you abreast. So that's been our educational segment on Mornings with Michael, afternoon edition. Hope everybody has a great day. Remember, Mornings with Michael is for information and educational purposes only. It's Monday, get out there and keep working on your goals and your activities. And if you have any financial goals you need support with, please reach out to us and we'd love to help you.